Hello everyone, today we're going to install Moodle 5.1 on a Ubuntu server. You can see on the left hand side we have the Moodle docs, Moodle.org from Moodle.org, the step-by-step installation guide for Ubuntu. On the right hand side you can see my Ubuntu server. Now I'm going to run the command line only on this. This is going to be all command line, no graphical user interface. You don't have to be a Linux expert to follow this, but if you want to learn and run servers, you really need to understand the Linux command line. Now, as well as a virtual machine, you might also want to run this on the Linux for Windows, or you can run this installation on a cloud VPS or anywhere else where you've got access to a Ubuntu server. I've got to explain, this is not going to be a secure installation. We're not going to go as far as to make it encrypted. We're not going to secure the database, so it won't be ready for production, but it's a development server. You need to go further to get it ready for production. So let's get started. Moodle is a web server app, so the first thing we have to install on our server is the LAMP stack. It's Apache, MariaDB and PHP. There's some other components also needed, and we'll do that through the package manager. Once we've done that, we're going to have to edit the PHP config files to suit Moodle. There's 2 or 3 things there that need to be done, and we're also, because we're editing, we're going to set up the schedule tasks, which is done through a program called cron. We're going to download and install the Moodle code through Git. And we're also going to set up Composer, which is the new 5.1 required in 5.1. We're going to set up the Moodle data folder, which holds the data the files held by Moodle. Generated by Moodle. We're going to create the Moodle database, and we're going to create a Moodle user, and then we're going to install Moodle itself. And after all that, we're going to log on, have a look around, and check a few of those things. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is come down to our first command. We're going to copy the first command here. We're going to copy that one, move it across, we paste it, and we enter that one. And it's going to ask us for our address of our server. Get that one right, 192.168.122.53. That's now our address, and so we're going to be putting this up on my virtual machine at HTTP at that IP address. Now you'll notice I'm using variables here. The reason I'm using variables is because variables mean we only have to put something in once. We type in our path in once, and it's going to be set right through the whole process. So for example, I want my site to be at var www HTML sites. You could change that if you wish, and when you change that one here, it's going to change the path right through the whole installation process. So you don't have to go through and change bits and pieces all through the whole process. Now this is Ubuntu, so what we'll be doing is we'll be using the package manager apt get, and so here it is here. We're going to paste that one. It'll take a few minutes. The first thing it's going to do is run through the apt-get update and upgrade Y. I've already done that, so it's going to be quite quick. And then following that, we have to install PHP. You can see it over here. PHP 8.3 is being installed, and I'm installing the FPM version. As well as that, as well as all the extensions, we also need to install quite a few useful components, both for including a MariaDB server and the client. That's required, and we also have to have some requirements for Moodle, which includes things like GraphViz, I think, ASpell, and so on, and GhostScript. And there's 1 or 2 components we're also going to need on the install, which includes, for instance, Nano, which is a text editor, and Git, which is very, very useful, and also of course Composer. So all those things have to be installed, and they've just been installed now. Now we're ready for the web server, and there's 2 options here. Option 1 is a Apache web server. I think Apache 1 is the best choice for most people who are new to Linux. I don't think it's any slower than Nginx from what I can see. So what we're going to do is we're going to install this one here. We're going to copy it across here, and we're going to paste it here. We paste it again, and away it goes. And that is installing Apache. And while it's doing that, we're going to look at what we call a virtual host. And here's the virtual host here in red. You can see the virtual host is a way that Apache knows how to deal with Moodle on the web and the website. So it's going to create a file called, and you can see it here, etc apache 2 sites available modconf, and then this is the wording. And we could actually just go through and get a text editor, and we could enter all this in our file and using a text editor, but we're not going to. We're just going to hit that, and it's going to put all that in there for us. You might notice in here, as well as we'll look at it as well, have a look at the file itself. We look at cat, we'll look at the cat itself. Cat means basically show the file, and then we look there, paste that one, and there it is. So there's our file, and you can see the server name has been set to be, has followed the server IP address that's been substituted here, and this is how our variables work by substituting all the way through. One thing to notice in here, as well as the document root, which is var www.html sites Moodle public, we need to use public on the end of the document root with the new 5.1 install. That wasn't the case earlier. We also have in here this thing here, which is enable the fallback routing for URLs not matching files and directories. This is the fallback resource /r.php, and this is quite new, and it's something that people are being encouraged to start using. So this is our virtual host file. Now what we have is, at the moment we have an old host file which is called 000 default config, and you can see it here. And what we have to do is we have to enable the new one. We have to enable the new one here. We have to enable it here. We have to get rid of the old 0 default config file, and we have to reload Apache and get everything running with the new PHP. Now after that, we've got to go through and make some adjustments to the ini file. Maximum input vars, the post max size, and the upload max file size are not set correct, or are set a little bit low for Moodle on this default. So what we're going to do here is we could again go through and do use a text editor like Nano. We could find those bits of those text strings, and we could put a new text string in. What Sed does is do that for us. The stream editor does that for us. It goes into those files, it finds that text string, and it changes it to for instance, it changes max input vars to 5,000. I think the original figure is about 1,000. And after it's done all that, we have to reload the PHP. So once that's done, we now have the ini files all set up, and that's quite important for otherwise we're going to find our Moodle installation is going to fail, and we have to go back and fix that later. So let's get it right now. Now we don't have to do the nginx because we've already installed Apache, so we jump down to here, and we're obtaining the Moodle code using Git. So we've got quite a bit to do here, so I'll copy that one across first, and then I'll talk about it. Right, so what we're doing here is, first of all, over here, we're going to do a git clone, and we're going to get version 5.1 from GitHub, the Moodle site on GitHub, and we're going to put it into our Moodle code folder. And you can see over here the Moodle code folder is var www.html sites Moodle. So it's going in there. Then after that, we're going to do a chown. I'm not sure to pronounce that, and that's going to make that the www data is basically the web server user, and we have to make that web server user the owner of all the Moodle code. And that's and it's recursively done, so all the subdirectories as well. Then we change into that Moodle code folder, and we're going to create a cache directory. We're going to be installing Composer. I've had some error messages here before about this cache Composer not being able to be written, so we're going to create a little, in var www we're going to create a special directory for it, and we're going to go through and set that to be the owner. We'll set the owners and permissions on there, and then finally we're going to be running the composer file, composer, using that cache directory, and we're going to install as suggested by Moodle. And following that, again, we're going to set the ownership of the vendor file, because the vendor file is going to be created by the composer, and we're going to set the permissions on the Moodle code folder. So all of that's going to happen in there, and you can see it's actually finished. We've got no error messages, it's all in green, nothing to install, update or remove. We've gone through, we've set up the Git, it's all ready to go. Following that, we've only got a few more requirements to do. We have to create the Moodle data folder, what to call the Moodle data folder, which contains which will contain the files which are generated by Moodle, and that's done already. That's all set up, and we've also set the permissions on there, the permissions to set them properly for those ones. The next line is actually the cron line. So what we're going to use a program called crontab. Again, if you wanted to, you could go into crontab and edit the crontab directly, and you'd have to put this line in starting with those 5 dots. And what that means, those 5 dots means every minute we run user bin php. Every minute we run user bin php, and we find the cron php, which is a Moodle PHP file, and we run it. And that's going to keep the Moodle clean. There's quite a bit of housekeeping required in Moodle. Bits and pieces have to be updated, deleted, and so on. And so that's what cron does. And cron's quite important for your database. So let's get it going. The next step is a database. We need a database for it. We better make sure we've done that one. Push the button or it won't work. Now we're going to paste in here, and we're going to create the database. Now the way we create the database is we have a MySQL Moodle user password, and we create a random password for this person, and then we use that password later on as the password for, we'll create the database first as Moodle, then we create the Moodle user, and here is the password down here, and then we grant the privileges, and then we flush the privileges. So the database now is set up and ready, and I think we're nearly there. We're actually just about close. All we're going to do now is we're going to come through now, and we're going to do the actual Moodle install. All of that was just getting ready for the install. This is the actual Moodle installation process, and away it goes. It starts to build the Moodle. Now the Moodle installation process here, what we're doing is we're running this one, we're running the install PHP from the Moodle CL admin folder, and we're running it as www.data, who is the web server. We're running it through PHP, and we're putting in things like the protocol website address. That's going to jump up to HTTP 192.168.122.53 and so on. We're passing through the Moodle user password. We're doing all this. All these is happening at the moment, and when we're finished, we should be able to see a message coming out telling us the message that it's finished. It will tell us where a new Moodle is. It will give us the address, and it will give us the admin, which is our login, hard-coded, and we'll get a brand new Moodle admin password. So wait for that to come through, and then we'll be fine. Just give it a second or two. It's a little bit slow. It's got quite a bit to do. We're nearly there. Oh, come on. There it is. It's done. Okay, so what we're going to do now is where's my mouse got to? We're going to copy this one here for a start. We're going to copy. Then we go to our link. Open the link. Log in. Now this is a new password. You might be worrying about passwords, but we're going to update the password here. Probably a good idea to keep the password. As for the Moodle password for the Moodle database, we don't have to worry about that because this installation has created a config PHP, and that config PHP will show you the database password. Okay, let's have a look now. We're going to go into, where are we now? Welcome admin, home, more. Where am I now? Here it is. I'm getting confused, jumping around. We're going to go and have a look at the server for a start. And we're going to, let's go and look at plugins. We're going to install a plugin. I'm going to choose a file, upload a file, browse, benchmark, upload that file, install the plugin from the file, continue, do the server checks. I'm also going to jump back in here, by the way. What have I done? Went down a bit too far. Where am I? I've lost my, oh dear. There it is there. Obtain the Moodle code using get. Oh, I've lost myself. Going to go through here and just make sure from here we're just going to go through and do these two as well. We didn't do that one before, but now we've installed the plugin. Let's just go through and set the permissions a bit tighter. Oh, where are we? Okay, so here we are now. If we look in here, this is the checks that are going on within the environment checks, and you can see everything here is green. And the only problem we have here is HTTPS is not set. That's okay. This is just a a virtual machine. There's no composer check, so we know everything's fine. Continue here. Continue. We put our name in here. Just put a bit of a dummy address because I'm not really going to use this very much. Now we've got our reports. We can go to our benchmark. We can check the benchmark here, and you see it's running quite quickly, so that's no problems. So what else we've got to do now? Oh yes, let's have a quick look at the server, and let's just make sure that cron is working, because we should be able to see the scheduled tasks here. Very important to get cron going. Quite a lot of nevers. Oh, what's going on? Oh, what's happened? Okay, go back into here. Did we get that one right? Did we echo that one right? Did we actually do that command? Okay. I'm not sure why that didn't work. It's always worked for me in the past. Okay, let's have a look through. Okay, so that's working now. You can see I probably didn't set the cron before when I was busy talking, but you see now it's running at 257. My cron is now running. The only other thing now to do is just to check that this router is working. So let's go back to home, and we're going to add a new course. We're going to call it first, and it's going to be a very simple. We're just going to call it F, because it's not really going to be much of a course, and we're going to save and display. And there's the skip tour coming up. Takes me a minute or two sometimes. Now you see here on configuring the router, where's the configuring the router? It tells me how to test the system. You log into Moodle, right? We've done that. Open a course and note the ID number. So what they do at the example, the Moodle example com course view, and you want to take that and you want to take from the course view and pick up my course manage like that. So we copy that one, go back to our course, and we're going to go through and we're going to change this one to be and we're going to make that 27, which is exactly what they say. And we get an error message. And you look at that one, 404, an unusual error occurred trying to view a page that does not exist. And if we look at their error message, it's exactly the same, almost exactly the same, except mine's my course 27 and theirs is my course 2. So really that shows us the router is working. So by now what we've gone through and done, I think, is create a development database, a development Moodle. We've set it up originally really starting from a very basic Ubuntu server. We have everything in here we set everything up. The router is running, the cron is running, Compose is running. I think it's all there, and from this database with this Moodle we could start playing around with it, seeing how it works. And if we start doing some of the next step, which is to go through and do the to go through some of the stuff here. We can go through and do some of the stuff here, like setting a root password in the database, for example, for firewalls, making encryption, so on, using the SSH keys, removing the root access, all those things you'd need to do to make it a production Moodle. So you're well on the way to having a successful Moodle on VPS.